So I wanted to talk to you guys about something very important. This is mission critical, literally. And the reason why I say that is because, see, a lot of people, they don't understand the definition of what it means to keep staying wealthy, right? So what they end up doing is they accumulate all these type of assets. They grow on the path of essentially building a lot of wealth. And then they put all that in jeopardy. They put all that at risk. So my goal today in this video is to explain to you the measures that you need to take in order not to only preserve your wealth, but make sure that you don't put it at risk in the process. And the reason I want to do this video is because just lately I've been talking to somebody that just came across my content and they reached out to me. They wanted to learn about the stuff that I do. And they asked me a very important and interesting question. Why aren't you showing off with all the good stuff that you have? Or why don't you show off with the wealth that you have? Why are you so conservative? And, why is it that, a lot of other YouTubers are actually doing all these type of fancy things and you're not? And it's nothing to do with malintention. The whole intention was to figure out if I actually legitimately, cared about the YouTube community, or whether I just wanted to do content to eventually lead them to a path where I live a flamboyant lifestyle and I show off all the type of cool toys and tools that I have. And the reality is, I had to explain to that individual is I've gone through life experiences which taught me the significance of being careful with the wealth that you created and how to preserve that wealth and some of the ways that you can protect it, because there's a lot of sharks out there. And there's nothing we can do about that. Sharks are going to be everywhere. The biggest thing we can do is make sure that, whatever it is that we do it well. And whatever that we build in terms of wealth, we structure it in a way that puts our family away from the risk. Because every decision, when you're a business person, when you're an entrepreneur, every decision, you're going to go through a phase where you have to put something at risk. Whether it's yourself or your process or your family, something's definitely going to be at risk. And I believe the biggest thing you can do for that and to kind of overcome that and overcome those obstacles is to position yourself so that you don't have that one thing putting your entire infrastructure, your business, your family at risk. So what I explained to that person, and the reason I'm sharing this video with you guys is not because I want you to feel that, hey, you shouldn't enjoy the stuff that you have. You shouldn't enjoy the materialism once in a while, right? Just as we had our discussion the other day about a walk in the park, we talked about how you should always shift your mindset, rehabilitate that mindset towards a positive way of growth and let go of the things that are hurtful to you. And it's going to drag your path of success through the mud. We talked about letting go of materialistic things. But at the same time, there's also the aspect of enjoying the materialistic things that you have acquired through hard work, effort and determination, and how you go about making sure that you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. And then there's also the consequence of trying to enjoy the fruits of your labor, but at the same time, what's happening is you're kind of falling into a situation where you have individuals who are trying to take it away from you, right? Everything that you work so hard to build is being put at risk. And for that reason, I think today's conversation is very critical between you and I. It's a heart-to-heart. I want to be very honest with you. And I think that at the same time, you can understand from a position where I come from when it comes to doing business at a very high caliber, to bringing it down to the notch where people understand in a very simplistic way, such as this YouTube channel. Now, it's not that everything's going to be simple, right? This is life. It's just there are certain things that are more complicated than others. But the least we can do is try to pay attention to the things that matter to us. So on that context, what I explained to that individual was, hey, the reason why I don't show off, the reason why I don't go out there and leave, a flamboyant lifestyle, those private jet lives or the supercar life, is because at the end of the day, who are you trying to impress, right? There's a certain amount of credibility that you can build over a period of time. That credibility has to stay consistent. See, I'm in the business of credit repair. That's just one of the many things that I do. But on the other side, I also have other businesses such as buying and selling companies, which you guys know I already talked about, and coaching individuals to start their own businesses, including credit repair. And to start from a position of wealth when it comes to that, in order to make sure that you're actually guiding your students in the right path, making sure that the people who are learning from you are actually taking the material that you're teaching in a way that they can appreciate, and it's like in a way that you're also protecting them. So if I were to leave that kind of lifestyle, I'm not going to impress anybody. A lot of people may see that kind of stuff. They be happy. Hey, my God, this guy has, let's say, a Bentley, or let's say a Rolls Royce, or let's say he's flying in a private jet. Oh, he must be super well off. And a lot of people follow those type of people, right? That's very nominal. It's just the fact that, you see these flashy things because you could never be there at the moment. I'm not saying it's impossible at the moment. And you see yourself there. So you see yourself going through the experience of that same person that's on that channel or video that you're watching, flying this private jet, going through these different areas and coaching you about life, like you're their best friend or something. And the reality to that is you're far from that, right? And the reason why you're far from that is not because you're poor or you don't have the financial means. Is because that person who's on the other side, they have only one job, to sell you their stuff, right? And the more they feel on your needs to feel in a certain way, the need to be flamboyant, the need to pay attention to those type of things, the more jet hours you're filling up in their Marquis card or whatever the private jet cards that they use to whatever, flamboyant lifestyle they're leading. The whole lifestyle that they're leading is thanks to you. And the reason why it's thanks to you is because you're the one watching their content. You do paying advertising revenue. They're selling your products and services at a low tier cost, studying their markets, figuring out whether you can afford it or not. And all these type of research goes into play to make a tactical video that draws you in, your attention in to that kind of lifestyle. And the biggest thing I need you to take away from that is don't pay attention to that. Don't use that as a means to measure your success. Don't use that as a pinnacle to success, because what it is, it's a very big deception. So what I'm trying to say here is every time that somebody tries to show off and gets out of their fancy car with slow motion video graphics and all these type of things with a fancy suit and these super nice fancy sunglasses and in a fancy mansion that they probably rented out, but because you watched it so much, because you had the desire to feel in such a way to feel like them, that in a couple of months they were about to buy that mansion thanks to your advertising revenue and the products they sold you, right? So it's just you have to be very careful. Okay, I cannot control society or tell them to think a certain way, but that's the one side of the things, right? It's just you're disconnected from that, and the only way you make a connection is by comforting yourself, looking at through these type of things, and making you feel a connection to that individual. And the reality is that there's no such connection except the one that is materialistic and a fantasy land. It's just never going to materialize unless otherwise you have to take certain steps to reach that goal. And you're definitely not going to reach that goal if you feel impressed about somebody like that who's trying to sell you on a product or service or about their lifestyle and coaching you like as though they know you on a personal level. There's a huge disconnect. The second side to that, and the reason why I don't take my teachings and coaching and push it on into that platform of living a flamboyant lifestyle or showing off, is because albeit I have these type of things, these nice homes, the assets, income, businesses, for me, I don't look at that as a way to make a connection with you, right? For me, my connection with you is more on an intellectual level. And the reason why I say that is because if you understand what I'm trying to teach you and you apply it and it changes your life for the positive, instead of dragging you towards more debt, making you feel a certain way that, oh my God, you didn't buy that watch, you're not up to par, right? My biggest thing with you is to make sure that, whatever you do, that you do it well. And that your intellectual ability between myself and you being able to transition the knowledge that I have and put it into a platform where it's easy to understand for you, and you get the outcomes from that knowledge. To me, that's the biggest goal. And if you can reach that, I'm happy, right? So that's the second point, right? So number one, we talked about why I believe that the connection that you have with those other people who are flamboyant, living their lifestyle, enjoying and showing off, is a very materialistic and unrealistic one at the same time. Number two, I say that the reason I believe in connecting with you is through intellectual means and making sure that I can transition the knowledge that I have in an easy to understand and distributing platform like YouTube and my courses, for instance. The third thing about, being careful with the type of stuff that you do when it comes to that is, one day or soon, let's say you build a business and you become very successful and you have a lot of wealth, you're putting yourself and your assets at risk, because a lot of people are looking at you. A lot of people who write these negative comments or who try to put you down are the ones that don't even have a profile picture on their Google or whatever they use when it comes to YouTube. On top of that, it's just they keep hopping from one place to another. And I feel that the people who do that are very insecure about their own ability that they have to hide behind a keyboard and do that. On the other side, you got other people who look at all these type of content, they try to be positive, but they're not really applying anything on their life, and it's just like getting them nowhere fast, right? So you got two sides of the grain, and I think that at the end of the day is when you build your wealth and you try to keep it, you have to balance that. You have to balance the time between, okay, what is being wasted to what is being more productive and progressive. It's not just progressing with credit that matters. It's also progressing with your knowledge, with your understanding, with your intellect, and your lifestyle. So everything we do in business has a consequence. So if you're in business and you're trying to do certain things, what happens is you have to think twice before you do it, because now let's say you have a family, that family could be put at risk because of the decisions that you might make. So at the end of the day, you have to think about, hey, what are some of the things I need to do when it comes to building my wealth and preserving it that doesn't put my family at risk? All right, so these are the type of considerations that you must have. On that note, I think that, I left it off with that conversation by stating that, look, I've been through businesses. I've been through the cycles. I've seen the ultra wealthiest individuals go through a lot of financial issues, even issues with internal family and people who are jealous, who are naysayers and sharks and litigants out there who are trying to go after them. And I think that what I wanted to finish off with was, in order to become extremely wealthy and successful, nobody needs to know about your status or position of wealth. The only person that really matters for that is when you look yourself in the mirror. It's yourself. And if you're trying to impress somebody else, the biggest thing that you always have trying to go for you is the people who are there. There are some people who are really bad, intentionally or not, it doesn't matter. They get pleasure out of watching you suffer. So if you're not willing to go through that, and show off and try to live a materialistic life, then my suggestion is, build a life that's worth living by self-satisfaction. And self-satisfaction never comes from pleasing others, period. Self-satisfaction always comes from pleasing yourself and those that are immediately around you that matter the most to you. That includes family, your relatives, your closest friends. And friends, you can only count how many friends you have in a hand, in a palm, literally. And I think the biggest thing you have to understand is, even friends, you have to understand what kind of friends you have. So if you're going to protect the people around you, yourself, your self-satisfaction at that level, the biggest thing you need to understand is what I just taught you. Okay, so again, the materialistic people that are out there who are trying to show off and all these type of things don't necessarily have a deep connection with you. Makes you feel good because you feel connected to that person. But if you disconnect the computer and all the wires, you're back to your own reality. Which means, number two, you shouldn't worry about this type of connections. You should worry about the intellectual ones. Because after I disconnect, or you can disconnect the plug or turn off your monitor or your phone, what do you have with me? You have the knowledge that I just transitioned to you. The information now that you can use to further your wealth and credit. So that's critical. And the third point is, don't try to satisfy anybody but yourself. Self-satisfaction is the key. And the only way to do that is preserve your assets. Be careful around those individuals who are just trying to show off. I stay away from that. If you want to drive your Bentley, do it at your own time. Talk to somebody that you feel is connected to that level, who has the same type of mind and drive. Drive towards a marina, hop onto a yacht, take a sip of champagne because you just bought a big company that's going to change the way your family is going to live forever. That is the only reason you want to do that. Not because, oh my God, a bunch of people are looking at me. I'm driving Bentley. I feel good about myself. Oh my God, am I going to get my car keyed by some jealous idiot out there? Right? You're not buying a $700,000, $800,000 package just to get it keyed so you can get a paint job on it for 20 grand, right? You want to do it because it feels good to achieve a certain level of success, and that has meaning behind the people that you're going to share it with, who's going to take you further and more progressively in your life than ever before. So I just wanted to shoot out this quick message, very different from wealth and credit usually. Again, it's lately my topics have been around personal blogging to make sure I can connect with you on a deeper level. I'm going to get back to the credit topics. I got some interesting things coming up. But I wanted to talk to you about that heart to heart, about these type of things, what I feel about them. You don't have to necessarily agree, right? But I would definitely like to hear your feedback. So on the description, you're going to see a bunch of links that I'm referring to. I got my course there as well. But on the comments section, I'd like to have a conversation with you. What do you think about what I just shared with you? Do you agree? Do you disagree? And if so, why? Right? And also tell me what's some of the things you guys are working on right now. Do you agree that, you have to be very careful with those people around you and how you look at individuals, and what are some of the things that you should really work on? Do you agree that self-satisfaction is important? And if so, then let me know below. Say, yes, it is important. Self-satisfaction is critical. So with that said and done, I wanted to leave you guys off with that. It's definitely very different again, but it's important that you guys understood. Okay, so I hope this video helped. Don't forget to like this video. Like I said, let's have a discussion. Leave me a comment. If you're new to this channel and you fell across this video, I'm happy for you. Don't forget to subscribe though. Turn that bell icon on because I'm going to talk about some credit and wealth strategies coming up, and I'd love for you to know. At the same time, this is your guide and mentor, Ali Tarafter. I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.